What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. I hope you guys are having a great week. We are currently on a nice stretch of content, even though the views aren't there. I know a lot of you guys are returning viewers, leaving comments, likes, and I truly appreciate you guys so much. The content will not stop coming. I feel like we are on the edge of really breaking through to something really nice. I'm kind of getting to the first step of where I want to be. So I hope you guys are really enjoying the content. And today we are talking about free agency. Now, this video is specifically just to recover some of the things that we talked about on TikTok. So if that's where you're here from, shout out to you. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and leave a like. Let me know you're from TikTok. But like I said, this video is specifically to cover some of the things that we talked about on TikTok, just a little bit more of depth. So we're going to talk about some of the things. I'm going to give you my thoughts on them. Like I said, in a little bit more depth. TikTok's form of content is definitely more short and quick and to the point stuff. Just kind of getting the news out to you guys and trying to grow the audience through there and bring them from there over here. So the views aren't as nice as they are over on TikTok, but like I said, we are not going to quit trying to get there. So let's go ahead and dive on in talking about NFL free agency. NFL free agency started at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for the teams on the East Coast, and immediately free agents started signing everywhere. There was a lot of news that came out even before then, so we're going to kind of do it in chronological order as best as we can based off my memory. Some of these will be intertwined and at different times just because there was so much news. But the first kind of big news of the night/morning, because I saw it this morning, I go to sleep a little bit early. This news broke about 11 o'clock last night that Russell Wilson was signing a 1-year deal for the league minimum to the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. We saw this coming because he did have 2 meetings with the Steelers, basically right after he got cut from the Denver Broncos. There was mutual interest there early on, and they get a deal done early. Russell Wilson gets his seat before the chairs stop, before the music stops. And so I do like this move for the Steelers. I do think he will probably beat out Kenny Pickett in training camp. But we talked about it on the TikTok video. Mike Tomlin said he was going to want to bring in some quarterback competition for Kenny Pickett. And they do just that with a Super Bowl veteran. Even though he has not played his best ball the past 2 years, he's played better the last year than he did the previous year. And so he looks to get a fresh start with a pretty decent offense and a really nice offensive coordinator as well. So that was the first one that we heard. The next big piece of news was that T. Higgins has officially requested a trade from the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll keep this one short and sweet. Whether or not he gets a trade or not, he's definitely not happy with that franchise label on him at all. And so he's a great wide receiver. He's a wide receiver 1 pretty much on any other team in the league besides the Bengals. They obviously have Jamar Chase. And so for him, he wants to go somewhere else and be paid like a wide receiver 1. He was a bit upset, he said, because he does love the city of Cincinnati, but they did not talk to him about a long-term contract extension since March of last year. So it's been a full year, essentially, since they talked about a long-term deal. He was upset about it, and rightfully so. The Bengals definitely did not do good by him in that stretch. And so for me, even if he does even if he does stay with the Bengals, I think overall he's still going to be playing. He's still going to be playing at a very high level. So I hope they can get a long-term deal done. But when a player comes out and demands a trade like that, it's never a good look for that organization or for the player, because it just did not end well at all. Moving on to the other biggest piece of news, and then we'll try to go in order here. Actually, going in order is kind of a lost cause just because of how much news broke. So forget about that. We're just going to go in order of what I think is relevant, and that would be Kirk Cousins to Atlanta. Kirk Cousins to Atlanta is definitely the first quarterback domino that we were waiting to fall this offseason. He was the biggest free agent out there, alongside the quarterback draft being very stacked this year. He was definitely the one that guys look at to see where he goes. Because he went to Atlanta, that means there are limited spots for Justin Fields to be traded to. Definitely puts a hurt on what the Chicago Bears were probably trying to do. We heard that Atlanta was the best spot for him. There was mutual interest for those two teams to get a deal done, but they ultimately go with Kirk Cousins for almost $100 million, or it might have been even more than $100 million, 4-year deal for a little bit of an older guy coming off an Achilles injury. Is not the best money overall, I don't think. Not the best value you could have got for Kirk Cousins. But listen, I think with the weapons they have, the defense they have, and the offensive line, obviously they have a great running back in Bijan Robinson. I do think overall he definitely helps them and solves the biggest question on their offense, which was the quarterback position. So overall, I think it's a good fit for them. I'm just not a fan of the money. Moving on to some of the running backs that were gone, we saw the first news break of an NFC team getting DeAndre Swift. The Bears claim DeAndre Swift. They give him a nice contract, very similar to the one that we saw for Saquon Barkley, which we will be talking about next. He goes to the Bears, and I like this fit for the Bears. I can tell that whatever they're trying to do with the quarterback position, whoever they end up having, whether it be Justin Fields, trading away that number 1 pick or taking the number 1 pick and using Caleb Williams with it, I do think that they're giving that quarterback the best shot to try and be successful. They've added some really nice pieces on the defensive side of the ball. They've tried to get him some help on the offensive side of the ball. They obviously have the number 9 pick as well in this draft, so they could draft another wide receiver, they could draft an offensive lineman, or they could try to use that to fill a position on the defense, because as well as they've done this offseason and as well as their new GM has done, they still have multiple spots that could be filled with a lot of young talent that is out there in the draft and free agency this year. So I do think overall the Bears are on the right track, and I love this signing of DeAndre Swift. Moving on to Saquon Barkley, who we just mentioned before. He signs to the Eagles, and there was a report that came out that the Giants didn't even offer him a contract at all in free agency. So that was a bit shocking to hear. Definitely not a good look for the Giants. The Giants then go out, and I think it's on here just a little bit low, but we might as well talk about it. They go out and get Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary had a very good year with the Houston Texans last year, and he goes up to New York with a pretty decent contract to fill that Saquon Barkley void. Another running back that we're going to be talking about is Josh Jacobs to the Green Bay Packers. Definitely an insane stunner, as Ian Rappaport put it. We did not expect this coming into the early stages of free agency. We had a brief run of what it would look like of Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs in our heads, that 1-2 punch. But unfortunately, Green Bay could not make two miracles happen in one day and get Aaron Jones a contract extension. They couldn't agree on it. And so he now is a free agent, is one of the best free agents available now in that running back position. So we will see where he goes. A lot of people are speculating that he might go to the Raiders and kind of do basically a one-for-one trade and not have to worry about any other picks or compensation. They'll basically go and get paid. I do like that fit for Aaron Jones. We will see as that moves on. We'll probably won't hear about that for another week or so, just because it was pretty shocking, I'm sure, for Aaron Jones. Felt like it was really quick. And so overall, I do like it, and we'll stay with the Raiders. They get Christian Wilkins. Adding him on the line with Max Crosby is absolute insanity on that defensive end, defensive side of the ball. Great move for the Raiders. I think they did a lot of good during this free agency. They still have a lot of work to do in order to kind of really be a good team. A lot of people are saying Justin Fields is a good fit there. So there's a lot of work left to be done for them, and there are plenty of rumors in Las Vegas. Whether or not they will act on them, we will have to wait and see. But Christian Wilkins and Mad Max is ridiculous on one defense. Moving on to some other news. By the way, I just want to let you guys know, as I'm filming this on 8:30, the same day as free agency, tweets are rolling in, and I'm trying to get them in this video as well. So there might be a part 2 to this. Make sure you guys are following the TikTok so I can keep all of you updated on it as well. But we're going to stick to the ones we have written down, and then, like I said, we might do a part 2. So other than what we talked about so far, Bryce Huff does go to the Eagles, a very rich contract for him as well. The Eagles did very well, as they always do, acquiring talent. It's just whether or not they will be able to put it together. Obviously, the end of last year did not go well at all, and they are doing their absolute best to fill holes that really caused them to not have a good end of the year. So I like this move for the Eagles. We're kind of go through these a little bit quicker. The Jags also get Gabe Davis and Darnell Savage. So they get a wide receiver who is a very good deep threat, had some struggles in Buffalo as far as being consistent. But when he is on, he's very good, adds another weapon for Trevor Lawrence to get, or Mac Jones to throw to. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of those things out there as far as that goes. So they get an offensive and defensive piece that they really need. Definitely bolsters their roster even more. Hopefully for them, though, they're still trying to get out of the mud of being a terrible organization. They're trying to be better. They're trying to do what the Lions did and just get that last little bit of dust out of the pants that Dan Campbell was talking about on Hard Knocks. And so hopefully for them, they're able to do that this year and turn it around and make the playoffs like they did the year before. And so hopefully for them, like I said, they'll be these two players will be very helpful in doing that. And then the last two we're going to talk about, surprise, surprise, running backs. Tony Pollard goes back to his home state of Tennessee and signs with the Titans. Austin Eckler goes to the Commanders. Definitely did not see that one coming. Let me know if you guys did. But like I said, we're going to keep it short and sweet for those last two. I like them. I definitely think that it doesn't move the needle much for what those teams are at its current state. Obviously, Washington has a real chance to go out and get a quarterback that is could be life-changing for them and kind of be the future for that organization, but we will have to wait and see. Don't think Austin Eckler has that much good football left in him if we go off what happened last year. And so whether or not you believe in him or not, he probably won't be around for that long anyway. And like I said, for Tony Pollard, he does go back home. That duo of him and Tajay Spears is going to be really nice. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you are a fan of one of these teams and the moves that we talked about today, let me know how you feel about them. If you're upset, if you're not, let me know future moves. If you are a fan of a team who was not mentioned today, let me know a move you would like to see in the future, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.